So this is a story about how I got started on social media. I wish I could tell you it was an overnight thing, but most of us know that that's just not how real life works and how it is. It all really started in about 2008. I started working for a dental office, and basically I started working as their pretty much marketing director, doing PR for the dental office. And I really fell in love with it then. You know, the marketing, the planning, and social media was not big at that moment, by no means. It was just a different type of marketing to try to get customers. And as I was doing this, I was going to school on the side. I was trying to be a firefighter, was going to school to get my associate's degree in fire technology. Yes, that's a thing. Firefighters do have to go to school to get their degree and just know what we're doing, well, what you're doing in the field. And it took me forever to get my fire degree because I went to a community college. So I started in about 2008, finished school at the end of 2012. And then I went right into getting some volunteer time to get some experience, to be able to get picked up by a fire department. And that was like the key thing to be able to get into the fire department. So I let go of my job that at that time paid decent to go be a volunteer and literally get paid about 1/4 of what I was making at the time. And it was a struggle. You know, I had to leave. At that point, I was married, and I had to go live about 2 hours away from home, work there for 5 days straight, and to be able to get this volunteer experience. So it was definitely hard, but I was committed. I'm one of those people. I'm committed 120%. And so yeah, that's how it started. So I finally got some volunteer time under my belt, and it was maybe about 6 months or so. And in 2013, I applied. I remember back in that time, I applied for CAL FIRE, and back in that time, you had to drive everywhere that you wanted to be considered. CAL FIRE has units in the entire state, like from as north as Mount Shasta to as south as San Diego. So I went, delivered all my applications, which had to be delivered in person, drove to every single unit to deliver my application, went to a few different stations just to meet captains and just put a face to the name, because that's what you had to do back then. And then I took 2 days, drove up north, and deliver more applications up north. And funny thing, the following year, they stopped doing that. So that sucked. But you know, it's all about commitment. So I did that. Finally got into CAL FIRE in 2013 and began my life as a firefighter. I loved it. It was hard, that time being away from family. One of the days, one of the fires that I went into lasted 31 days. So I was away from home 31 days. But I still loved it, you know. What I was doing, even though it was physical, and you would think, oh, you would be turned off by it. Sometimes being in the fires, because we did do wildland fires as well as structural fires, but being out in the wildland, you don't get to take a shower. You know, you're sweaty, you're dirty, you have dirt everywhere. But I loved it. It was my dream job. But then, you know, destiny had a different story for me. And I'm not gonna lie, it was hard being a firefighter. Not only physically, mentally, being a woman in a male-dominant industry was definitely challenging, but I had a really rough childhood, and I think, well, I choose to see it in a positive way and not victimize myself. I am stronger for it. So I just think that also helped me in my journey in being a firefighter. I encounter many different people. Some people were happy, but then there's those that you're female, so to them, you don't need to be there. You're getting in the way. And as I said, I'm one of those people that works 120%. I was the first one out there hustling. I mean, it was rough. It was rough, but that's what I committed to do. And I never let the fact that I was a woman stop me or let somebody put me down or think, oh, you can't do it. I recall this one time we were doing a drill, and drills are basically, it's training. We train and we do different type of workouts, drilling different things. And it was my first season, maybe 3 months into it. We're doing this drill and everybody finished before me, and I still had one more go to go around. And I remember the captain telling me, hey, don't worry about it, you don't have to finish. And I'm like, no, that is not me. I'm going to finish. And I did. I finished. I was tired. I was the last one, but I finished, and that's all that mattered, And I think in life, that's all that matters. You just continue to push and push until you accomplish whatever it is that you want, or whatever the task is ahead. But then the universe had a different plan for me. In 2016, I sustained an injury. And I wish I could tell you it was like, I was rescuing somebody, pulling them out of a building or some crazy story. But unfortunately, that is not the case. Literally taking out my gear from the engine, and that's all it took. That was like the drop to spill the water. And obviously we beat up our bodies as firefighters, and obviously it was a toll, but that was the last thing that just made my back go out. Severe pain. Fast forward a year later, and after having a nightmare of workers' comp case, which really, in retrospect, it was really hurtful, because you fought with these people side by side, your life was on the line, and I just really felt like I didn't get taken care of by anyone. And this is your family, this is the brotherhood, sisterhood of being a firefighter. And as soon as I was injured, that was it. There was nothing else. For a handful of people that reached out and kept in contact, and I'm so forever grateful for those people, those very few people. But other than that, the job, Cal Fire, didn't care about me. They didn't. I was just another person. I was just another employee. And I was gone and I was out of their mind and I didn't matter anymore. So I think that really hurt me. So 2017, I had back surgery, and as I said, nightmare of a workers' comp. They didn't accept my claim initially. I was in pain about 10, 11 months, and finally got fed up because I was in severe pain. This is TMI, by the way. Having incontinence issues. Mind you, I was at the time early 30s. In severe pain. Like literally I felt like my back was gonna snap in two. And I couldn't take it. My family is from Ecuador. I was speaking with some family members and they were like, why don't you come out here, get seen by a doctor, see what they recommend. And at this point, I didn't know what workers' comp was doing. All I know is that they weren't doing anything to help me with all the pain, except for sending me for little massages and useless stuff. So I went for it. I flew down to South America and had a surgery. Well, obviously that was the end, but I flew down to South America, saw a specialist, and had to have surgery. So that was gonna help me. I just wanted it done. I wanted surgery, go back, get back to work, period. But as I said, the universe had another plan for me. And it really, really sucked at the beginning. Or so I thought, I should say. After not only losing my dream job, being in extreme pain, having to have surgery out of the country, being scared to death, because it's surgery, it's back surgery, scared to death. I come home, I had to rush back home. I think it was 10 days after surgery, flew back. And I'm this tough chick, right? Tough chick. My family drops me off at the airport. They tell me, oh, hey, you should probably get a wheelchair. Nah, I don't need none of that. I don't need it. I'm good. They drop me off. I walk maybe 10 feet, walk another 3 feet to the left, and immediately feel my blood draining, and I felt like I was going to faint. Mind you, there's like at least another 40 to 50 feet in front of me before I could get to a person. Nobody's walking by, and I literally thought, oh my God, I am going to faint here. I am going to faint. Thankfully I didn't. Once I got a little bit of strength back in me, I huddled my way down to this booth and asked for a wheelchair. Funny, it was funny, but it was not funny. Anyways, after I came back from surgery, my spouse at the time and I had to relocate because I wasn't working, I wasn't receiving any pay, any workers' comp, any disability, any money, right? So from the savings I had, I was living, and I had no help whatsoever from the fire department or unemployment, because we don't put into unemployment. So receiving no income from them, and my spouse at the moment was pretty much sole provider. I couldn't work and we had to relocate. So we left to Las Vegas in 2017. a few weeks after I had my surgery. And this is the next step of gaining knowledge to working social media. Then I couldn't work, obviously just had back surgery, couldn't work for a few months. But as soon as I felt a little better, I'm like, okay, we need to try to get back, try to make money, try to do something, help my spouse. We were in a tough spot, you know? So I started doing Uber because it's Vegas, it's, you know, fairly short rides, able to move and stop whenever I wanted. And then I started doing photography, picked up a camera and started learning about photography, self-taught photography, a few courses here and there, videography. I started doing events, photography for just maternity, for babies, you name it. I did all that photography. Then did some product photography, and at the end of 2018, I believe 2018, my ex-spouse and I separated. So just when I was getting a little footing, a little bit of stability again, I felt like the floor crumbled again, and it sucked. Going through a divorce is not fun. Thankfully, we had a really amicable divorce. Nevertheless, it's never easy. It's never easy going through a divorce, and you never plan for it. But another curve in life. And a few months later, after that, I ended up going, I was traveling back to California to visit my mom and got in a car crash. And I had a TBI, traumatic brain injury. Fun stuff. I thought I was okay. The adrenaline, I didn't feel any pain except for like rib pain. And my car was totaled. Just finished paying it off. Maybe less than 30 days. Less than 30 days since the last payment. Car totaled. I got a rental that same day. I was still planning to make it out to California. And then I kept having this bothersome pain on my rib. I said, well, let me just check. I'm gonna go to the urgent care real quick and get it checked, and then I'll go down to California. I'm driving, can't find my way. I thought it was weird because it was the office where I would go to my regular doctor, but I couldn't find it. And finally, after trying a couple of times, I just decided to pull over, punch in the address, and just had Google take me. I get there, they see me, and they tell me, we can't let you leave. We're gonna have to transfer you to trauma center. We're not a trauma center. We have to transfer you because you had a concussion. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I could drive myself there. They're like, no, we highly suggest that you don't do that. And by that time, I started to feel a little funny. Started to feel like there was something going on. So anyways, that added to another little thing, right? But because of that event, I ended up moving back to California. And after I got into California, this was end of 2019. In 2020, I started working with family and started administrative work, because that's most of my focus has been administrative. But then it was like, hey, we want to do social media. Let's do it. Let's do it. That's just me. Whatever. I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. So learn how to do social media, learn video editing, and that is it. That was it. And it's funny because along the way, I always found myself going back to marketing one way or another, right? Whether it was through product photography and just helping small businesses just think outside the box, trying to get them to market themselves in different ways. And then coming back and starting doing social media for this company, it just really opened up that, and then it made sense. Then for me, the circle closed, where I started in 2008 with marketing. I went and learned photography, videography, and I've always had a creative side to me, so I've always enjoyed that. And then doing social media and learning to edit and do short form video, it was like instant click. I'm like, this is what I need to do. This is what I love. Not only the creative side of it, but just being able to help businesses grow is just, it's just gratifying to be able to do that. It has taken many years, and it was not originally my first dream job, but it has taken me here, and I'm so grateful. It has taken me here to open up my own social media agency, and every little pebble that I collected and put into this jar has helped me be here today. As I said, I am a huge believer that the universe is conspiring for us and gives us exactly what we need, when we need it, when we're ready for it. And when we don't, or when we're not ready, then we keep playing this cycle. And it's not until we figure out where we need to be that this cycle ends. So I'm a big believer in that. I think one of the biggest lessons that I got from this is that even if your dream does not come true, it doesn't mean that it wasn't the best thing that ever happened to you. Who knows? Maybe I would have died in an incident, at a fire. That is not where I needed to be. But along the way, not being a firefighter, not continuing on that path, taught me new things. And this is where I'm at now. I think also many other things that played into this was I've had different jobs, and I just never felt like I was valued. 90% of the time, I had employers tell me, oh my God, I wish I had 10 of you. And I mean verbatim, they have told me that. Except for one of my employers who was my father, and we all know how working with family can be. So I won't go into that. But aside from him, I have literally every employer has told me, I wish I could have 10 of you. But yet, as much as I put in, it was not given back. Sadly, I feel like a lot of employers don't take care of their employees. And once again, I'm grateful for that experience, because without that, I would have stayed there and I wouldn't be here today. So yeah, that's my story about how I got started on social media and how I went from being a firefighter to opening up my own social media agency. And I hope it could inspire somebody. Wherever you are in your journey, just know that you just need to keep going. Don't stop. It will happen eventually. I'm not telling you today, tomorrow, not even maybe next year. But just remember that your hard work will pay off one day. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time. And if there's any way that I could help you, your business grow, please don't hesitate to reach out. Until next time, have a wonderful day. Peace.